house and start asking JP. And once you're done with JP, I will invite other speakers to begin.
Now it's I think you can bring back.
Okay, so all the speakers that we have today, please on the stage.
The speakers that we have few.
What is that?
Yeah, so exactly. So sticky notes are there for open houses.
Yes, JP.
Yeah.
Yep. We have 30 minutes for these, and we will be talking about these sticky notes. We have only 2. Okay, we'll take them and then we'll see how it evolves. Here, anybody wants to stop? Read the question.
Okay. Is Scrum Agile useful for operations? I spoke to an Agile coach. He suggested me to look at Lean for operations. So there are.
Sure, please, yes, if they open up the folder.
Okay, so yes, I am currently working with an operations team for Agile implementation there, and I definitely think it's possible, right? If you look at it, basically what is Agile based on, right? 3 pillars are transparency, inspection, and adoption. Forget IT, forget software development, forget operations. All of us came here this morning either in a car or in a bus or in our two-wheeler, right? We did not leave home with a fixed plan of the route. We started, we found there was a roadblock or a traffic jam, we took a detour, we went into another road, right? So what we did basically was we inspected and adapted. That is what Agile teaches. Agile does not tell you WIP or it does not tell you prioritization. All those are enablers to inspection and adaptation, right? So Agile can be, it is something that we are, not something we do. So in that sense, all of us, the way we lead our lives itself is an example of Agile. That's what I think. So I mean, was this question answered? Anything more?
Was there any other particular concern about them? Maybe they who wrote the question?
Operations other than development might be like you have
So
HR,
operational tasks.
finance.
If you say Agile, is it applicable? Agile is applicable because it's nothing to do with your, because as I mentioned, right, we are doing it in social engineering, working with few linguists and few education policies to make something happen. It has nothing to do with your software or type of work. If you are talking about Scrum, even then, for me, if you ask me personally, it is possible because we are using those things. But yeah, some can say Scrum is more suitable for new product development because you can at least plan something. So the crux there is, if you can't even plan your work for at least a week's time, then don't make yourself heavy on the Scrum processes. Be there. That's what it says. But yeah, the principles can be used.
JP, I have a question for you. When we talk about operations environment, everything, what exactly operations is doing is firefighting. How can you implement Scrum in firefighting?
That's right. The question depends on is it Scrum or Agile. I think this question was Agile. Scrum, right? That's what. So Scrum would be useful if you could plan for at least some short duration and repeat that duration in a rhythmic manner. If you can't plan, if tickets are pouring every 1 hour, if you have a Scrum, you'll have a planning, you'll have a retrospect, that becomes an overhead. So hence you will not get benefits of that. That's it. But is Agile applicable? Yes, definitely. Because Agile talks about happening around, knocking out an issue and fixing it, right? And that has nothing to do with Scrum. Agile is a very high level and Scrum is one way of doing Agile. That's it. Practicing Agile.
Just to add to that, right? If you are in operations side, if you are always firefighting, then you definitely need to look at Agile. Because operations is not about reactiveness, it's more about proactiveness.
That comes as the second phase of operations, when you are getting into L1, L2 support and all those kind of things.
Sure. But lean principles and Agile principles can always be applied for any kind of work.
Can I
In fact, they are doing it.
can I help add
Yes,
something?
please. Yeah, Marvin can share
Well, okay. In my perspective, it's about continuous improvement, right? If you are talking about operations, you want to frequently slice your time into intervals. Take a step at a time, revisit, see how you're improving. That's the gist of being agile.
You cannot do that with firefighting.
Well, sure.
I would like some people to oppose me in the statement when I say that in firefighting mode, this cannot be implemented.
Okay. Sure.
All right. Then I think, in my perspective, do what works for you, and then see if there's spaces for continuous improvement.
Not only that, have you ever tried to find out what are the root causes for the firefighting mode? If you do that, and if you need to do that, you need system thinking approach, which is lean, which is agile.
No, that is why when I say business operations, sales operations, marketing, any kind of operation, when we are talking about, first part is always about firefighting. And then the background is supported by, L1 and the support, people thinking into it, change management, and all those kind of ideologies comes into the picture. But when we are talking specifically about the firefighting mode or the operations support, then I believe that it cannot be.
If you use agile, that things will become transparent,
Yes.
which are important. If you ask me Scrum, okay, we need to discuss.
Let me give an example.
Yes.
Like, all the automobile chains in the world were making a lot of profits. Suddenly the profits started declining, but Toyota's profits started going up. So if you just do a little bit of scratching and see what is it, the objective of all those guys were produce cars. The objective of Toyota was continuously improve and produce cars. So if you say that I'm always firefighting, I don't have a chance to improve, certain problem with the system.
No, I'm not saying that. Everybody has a chance to improve anytime. Maybe middle of the project, end of the project also you can kickstart the cycle of improvement. But when we are talking about cycle of improvement, we can implement agile because improvement necessarily needs planning, revisiting, investigating, adapting, and then delivering. Right? But when we are talking about operations, somebody is crying somewhere, there is something which is broken, the whole world is on fire or something. I personally believe that these things cannot be implemented.
I think the whole world is on fire, it's all me.
Yes, if that's
Nothing is on
you would
fire.
have been closed by now.
Yeah, so even if you are in firefighting mode, there will be one thing more important than the other. You can try something in Kanban. Even among things that are in fire, you can categorize them based on importance. You can solve it and move it out. Yeah, even that is agile, and platform of even Kanban is agile. So agility works in operations. Just that you got to use the right tool like Kanban.
Yeah, added to his comments, we should have guts to adopt that.
Yep.
The leader should have guts. Okay? If they don't have guts, I don't need leader. That's my answer.
Yeah, then they are there.
Yep. And next question.
That was answered.
Hope it was answered to some more people.
Yeah.
So the question specifically to me is, the statements are contradicting. Why you say build trust on one hand, but on the other hand you are saying ask team about their commitments about the plan? This doesn't build trust. Am I missing something? Okay, let me read it again. The statements are contradicting. Why you say build trust on one hand, but on the other hand you're saying ask team about their commitments about plans? This does not build trust. Question, am I missing something?
So that's the full statement.
Did you get the question?
Yes.
You want me to rephrase it?
Well, who asked that question? Maybe the person can provide more input on it.
Great question. I guess I got it. I think two things that we're talking about. Yep.
In one of your slides, you mentioned that the double sure about the commit team's plan.
Yep.
That contradicts you are not trusting.
Yep. Two things about that we're talking about here. One is building trust, sustaining the trust, and second is holding people accountable for their work. Ensuring and validating that the plan is conceived and the team has a confidence upon that plan. So I'm not going to hold people by the scruff of their necks and don't say that, are you sure about this plan? I'm going to take a pound of flesh if you are not able to finish it. That's not my way of validation. But there's certainly, see, I think it all goes back to how you really ask the questions. So one way of asking the question is, are you really sure that you'll be able to do it? Do you find any challenges in that? The powerful questions that we just talked about. And the other way is that if you are not able to complete it, man, you are essentially stuck. I'm going to kill you. So how you do it makes all the difference, isn't it? Two things here: building trust and holding people accountable. How you build trust? The way you conduct yourself, the kind of questions that you ask, and if you are able to exhibit that there is a genuine desire for people to improve their performance, take it to the next level. If there is a genuine desire, and if you are able to exhibit it, if you are able to, reach out as a person who has a genuine interest in helping you out, then of course the credibility and the trust is there. And then, you can even backslap those people and you can actually take them to task if they are not able to complete it. But at the same time, if you do not hold people accountable for their work, we are actually doing disservice for them. By not holding them accountable, we are letting them slip on their journey to career progression. Isn't it? I imagine there is a team member in our team, he is not really doing his work, and I just want to avoid any kind of difficult conversation, and I don't, confront him. At some point or the other, I'm going to give him a feedback at the end of the year. Isn't it? I can't really escape that. Otherwise, it's going to be injustice to the people from whose pound of flesh I'm going to be extracting it, bonus out. So at some point of time, I think courage is extremely important here for all leaders, whether you are a Scrum Master or a product owner or a manager, whatever role you are, developer, tester, unless and until you have the courage to face a difficult situation, engage in difficult conversations, but of course with soft words, I think you're just there. Was I able to answer your question?
You both think why it's just building trust.
Asking them whether they are
Right.
Yeah, we can say like, okay, I am confident you can finish this, right? So
What can I do to ensure that?
this is like, I have confidence. You accept it. If you accept it, you are responsible.
See, we used to also manage tasks like, say for example, in the previous sprint they have done only 20 story points. Suddenly they are taking 40 story points. Okay guys, how confident are we in completing this? That's it. If they say, yeah, we will complete it, that's it. That's it. It's just a validation for just checking whether they are taken without considering all the options or with consideration. That's it.
One note comes to my mind, right? It's all about building trust, and you need to have a bunch of people. I think that's what the screening technique they were talking about, what Proventus is doing, is to ensure that you get the right kind of people to begin with, right? So you can't have someone in the team with a different mindset and still run the sprints. It's going to be difficult, right? So a couple of statements that comes to my mind is there are two kinds of people you don't want to be a team, right? Any teams. So one who doesn't do what you tell. You tell a person, okay, I want to do this. They don't listen to you, right? It's going to be difficult, right? Second one is who do only that you ask them to do, right? It's going to be very difficult, right? So just to explain, right? The first one, right? Who do not want to do what you say. So you request them to do something, right? They don't do it at all. It's going to be a big problem, isn't it? Second thing, you say, oh, you know what, I want you to look into this thing and help me with something, right? Go for lunch, come back, right? Who only does that, right? It's like, most time you could have done it. No, you didn't ask me to do it, right? So, to add to this point, right, it's also important to have the right kind of people so that you can build that environment, right? Build that trust so that you can succeed in the that's my perspective.
I have separate questions.
Before you go to the next question, just added point. Again, people get into confusion about in Agile, people are empowered to do whatever they want. Things like that, right? Now here, we need to bring distinction. What needs to be done is not people's choice, it's a business choice, it's a business decision. How you want to do it is your game. Now that is where people get mixed up with all the ideas, and business has all the right to say do this because I'm paying you the salary. It's not a charity organization. Right? Same thing goes with manager or whoever is the leader. How do you do it? And I can join hands if you want. That should be my approach.
Yeah, my question, earlier I asked this say your teams are different agile teams are there, Scrum teams are there, which are spread across geographies. Some in Philippines, some in Brazil, some in Mexico, some in Canada, US, China, and India. In this case, if you want to implement scaled agile, and if you want everybody in sync, what will you do to build, make the team or enable the team to open up to each other, work in sync, and produce results? Because in bigger teams there are bigger challenges, bigger personal one-to-one issues, or maybe whatever. The net outcome is delivery gets affected. So how do you enable people to warm up to each other, teams to warm up to each other? So one suggestion that Abhishek gave was to make them travel so that they can warm up to each other. But what are the more effective approaches of doing so if travel is not enough?
Yeah, I mean, so travel is one means of achieving it, but I think what it really meant would have probably get that experience of people knowing, understanding different people's culture and their constraints. Now, one of the ways of doing it, to piggyback on my model, you need to have champions in different regions, right? I mean, you are working in a distributed environment. Whatever is the role of the person in that region, we need a champion at least per site, if not per team, who could all sync up and form an internal transformation group or a team, because we're talking about scale and in a distributed environment. No way you can do it by sitting at one location and hiring the best coach possible, right? We need champions in different places. Build your focus on building those champions. Second thing is, if they're all working on a combined thing at the end of it which integrates and produces something for the organization, you need enterprise level visibility in a much agile fashion. So people look for enterprise Kanban or something like that, where you can have an enterprise level visibility across the sites where everyone knows where they stand, and transparency and holding site or teams accountable for what they don't do. Now, unless you create this culture, you will be plagued with many issues. In fact, there are too many issues with distributed things. But this is the only key. Transparency, setting that culture, accountability culture, and you need people to do that and focus on building your champion. Maybe that's my 2 cents, but someone else wants to add.
Just one question. You already said the first question.
So all the communication channels are open up. Teams have met each other and they know interacting with each other. Because of the time zone differences, they do so in a different manner, like a different time.
The interaction is very important.
Outside the personal engagements, we are not there.
Practically,
May not be
practically we need to scale agile. Don't do more than 2 regions.
Sorry,
Practically we need to scale agile. Don't do more than 2 regions. It will not work. In theory, any number of locations work. Can you tell me a meeting we can set up between India, France, Japan, US?
unless I compromise on somebody.
Somebody should be available.
Yeah.
Point number 1. Point number 1. Point number 2. More than 2 or 3 cultures, you cannot work together. Be practical. It is not possible. You can work. You will not achieve anything. Let's be honest. You will not achieve anything. It's something like a dream. Okay, so first understand the real need of working across locations. Then try one simple way is, which is the most important festival in India, Deepak. So they ask those guys to wish us on only this festival, otherwise they'll be wishing every day. An important festival there, send them some gifts. That's enough. Have some corporate budget for it. That's enough. You cannot work with multiple cultures. All are theory. Practically, it will not work. There are differences, and if everything is working fine, then something is seriously wrong. There has to be. When is our heartbeat constantly? Only when the system dies. There has to be a variation. But if there is a special variation, address it. Heartbeat becoming 60, 40, problem. Somewhere it is between plus or minus 2, don't worry about it. That's the best way to work.
What we are, how we are How we are managing it is having three geographies at a single point of time interacting with each other. Though the number of meetings increase, but then that still gives us the chance to speak to each and every one. That is how we are kind of managing it. And
Losing a lot of firefighting, right? That's the result. That's the 5 years.
Scrum introduced 15 minutes meeting. The principle behind it is with the members of 9. Again, you know why 9 members?
so that to keep it a small circle.
You know the history of this 9, number 9? It started when Romans were trying to scale their army. The size of the tent can only fit 9 people. Only 9 guys in a tent care for each other's fate. Beyond which it is not a team. That is why Ken Schreiber said 7 plus or minus 2. Everything done in Scrum is scientific. Right? There is a science behind it. So, practically, certain things not possible. Let's leave it.
And then where can we find details like that? The caveman theory.
Maybe openly. Agile conferences. Go to YouTube. Everything is free. Watch those videos. The scaling dilemma. Mary Popendik. Watch that video. She gives a beautiful explanation of why 9 is such an important number.
There's one more from Greg Lamas. A similar sweet answer, right? The first statement he begins is most of his talks is distributed things, scale agile, and you want to do it in all geographic locations. Don't do it. And if you watch Greg Lamas videos, the first slide is don't do it. It will waste your energy. If you really want to do it, then you live by principles and be behind the culture. Right? No other.
Same conference, there is a YouTube video, Principles versus Practices. Watch that video. You'll get to know more about than what I'm talking.
Alright, so I'm going to shift the focus light from that place over to some other people. So if you have questions, please. Somebody, is that all or are we tired? Okay, so I got one to take. Can you please tell some on appraisal system, Scrum or Speaker, Bangalore, something like that? Does it ring a bell? Who asked this one? You asked this one. Okay, what was the question?
It's like we are talking about teams always in Scrum. When it comes to appraisal, I mean, if you see, I think many organizations is blind to team. But one side it is something like you tell about hero, some bell curve, all these things. How you, because when we start the organization completely is not moving into Scrum. One part is it is like taking dumbbells only one hand, always you will be muscle. All your left and other hand will be like not muscle. How you will rectify this?
Alright, so how we will rectify this?
I can't offer a solution, but I can offer something that's practically happening in Bangalore. In place where I'm currently working in Philips, the entire organization is getting into a transformation. It's not just the IT teams. The entire organization. The HR is also doing an organization. They have done a lot of activities in terms of mapping the existing roles to the new roles. Second one, how do you do appraisals? They have come up with a format. I can't share all those things now. I'll be sacked. They've come up with a format. The philosophy or the principle behind the appraisal is team, not individual. Whatever you do is team. And the philosophy of Agile is again moving away from an IT mindset to a customer mindset. And every opportunity, customer feedback is taken. And customer feedback is the final feedback. The teams will have to rate among themselves to understand how to improve. Customer feedback also comes, and a lot of science is being applied on these factors to do appraisals. So, appraisals is something that you will shortly see in the market. Okay? I guarantee you in the next 1 year, you should be seeing a new model. You don't have to worry about one hand.
Still sustain agile.
Actually, Accenture is struggling because they removed the bell curve, and now they are struggling to find out what model they need to go to perform.
You happen to work at Accenture, aren't you?
I'm an employee of Accenture, but employed at Philips.
I want to know if you can throw some light on what Albert said. Seemed interesting though.
Honestly speaking, I don't know what is the curve that we're going to start with. Nobody knows about it. It's not been official. Only thing we have got an information is from the next year 2016 there is no bell curve. But will there be a new curve? Or will there be a different kind of an appraisal system? I am not sure. Nobody is sure, let me be honest. None of us as Accenture employees, we are really sure what is it. But I'm sure the leadership team will definitely think about moving in the agile way of thinking. Because we are asking our customers to do, we have to do it first. So I am very sure that there's going to be a very positive impact in the organization. But at this point of time, no.
Are you going to follow the Infosys way of doing the appraisals?
You have to please talk to the CEO of the company, not me.
What my previous company we did is like, as you told, team media value, every sprint we did our 360. And that is taken back up.
You need to have a lot of maturity to give feedback about somebody.
Yeah.
Okay. The most important part is giving feedback in an emotional state. This fellow screwed up my code, I'll do it this time. That feedback system doesn't work.
I think that's what Abhishek said.
Very
How you put it makes a lot of difference, right? Like you said, your code sucks. I mean, that's not a review comment, right? You say, look, probably you would improve X, Y, Z, right? So it's a constructive feedback. I think it's a separate session, and it's a separate topic.
Just share one point which we currently, I'm working in a large scale transformation, 600 people there. Now they do have current appraisal cycle, whatever they tried 360 degree and they're still in the process, they're figuring it out. But there was a point where the transformation had a 2 years journey and they're now trying to go to the next level. One of the suggestions that I and many other guys who are working on that gave them was, if you really, there are already set of champions, and if you give them a bigger goal of moving the transformation to the next level in line with business objectives, that means there is a lot of risk involved and there are a lot of things that it takes them to actually go to the next level. So unless you design an unconventional reward mechanism, which is based on performance and risk, you're not going to make it possible. So you could still be living with your system and on top of it have another one which will pay for your people who are risk takers and champions coming forward, coming out of the game.
One point is there is a lot of importance given in the appraisal system on ability on thinking out of the box and ability on experimenting things, coming up with experiments. There's going to be a lot of focus. It's not just in one organization. I think 2 years from now, all of the goals and the goal setting exercise will be on these lines. How can you take risk? How can you think out of the box? And how can you experiment and then see how it works? So that experimental culture should come. From childhood we have been told not to do it, right? Don't do this, don't run, don't do this, do what I say. Suddenly, the organization, agile transformation, guys, you're self-empowered, do what you want. How will it happen? It doesn't happen that way. The whole generalization of idea in our brain is don't take risk, wait for somebody. Suddenly you're self-organized, do whatever you want, deliver value. It is very important for us to give time to decoil it. Decoil, that is the transformation. The decoiling is the transformation.
Okay, I could keep these gentlemen here for the next 3 minutes and then different directions everybody's going to go. If you have any questions that are on top of your mind, please ask.
Any tips about project planning and updation? Try to do as simple as possible, yet sponsors or the people in the ladder, they would still like to see. I mean, we can't just leave a link on the Jira or whatever. Right? Anything that you specifically follow to keep them updated, because they're also, thinking with this and say, what happened? Should I wait till end of the month or end of the sprint or whatever? So anything that comes across.
Communicate to them regularly. When we did the transformation, as a Scrum Master, I used to send a daily status report to my product owner who was in the use. Daily. We came up with a format. We daily sent a report, and there were a lot of questions asked. The good part was we used to never get pissed off when the question comes. The question comes the next day morning, we see. But it was all valid questions. Over a period of time, it died out. They were in the same frequency. After some time, Scrum Master said, the product owner said, I don't need these daily reports anymore. Because we have a daily stand-up call every day during evening my time. I don't need these reports. Daily reports stop.
If they are not part of your Scrum, they don't relate to it. Right? Why are they stakeholders?
Then we're not doing Scrum.
See, all the stakeholders are supposed to be part of. No, the stakeholders are never. Scrum team is part of. And
The way I'm going to take it is that I'll start with whatever I have. I'll start with whatever stuff I have. What is the roadmap that I have in front of me? What extent that I have a vision of now? And then I'll provide a status on that. So at least I have a visibility for this sprint. That's for sure. I can provide status on that. You can come up with some fancy format that something that's there. And you can also look at some of the refinements and all those things. So at least it will give us a look ahead of 1 or 2 sprints. And that is something that we can give a concrete vision upon. I'm fairly certain that any reasonable stakeholder is not going to ask us status upon things for which we don't even know anything about. Isn't it? They are not going to ask us for something that might or might not come our way 6 months down the line. There is no point in talking about it. There is no point in giving a status about it. So the way I'm going to approach that problem is that I'll just start with whatever vision I have, whatever extent my visibility goes, and I'll talk about that.
Intent is not about the planning, but again, what have we achieved, why, what, that sort of thing, right? And usually, the Scrum Master has to protect the team from external forces. I can give you the input, but again, I don't want you to use a stick and then probably evaluate my team. So how do you balance it? And I'm talking about from that time.
Shall I share a technique that we have been using in that same transformation? We have this concept of walk the flow that we created for executives, directors, and some of the delivery heads. And it just so happened that we just take them for a walk right after lunch or before lunch, depending on the distribution, right? And some simple working agreement. When you're walking the road, you're free to watch all the information radiators, everything, but don't speak. Just make your observation. Or if by that time, if you observe something, some good conversations, be a fly on the wall. That means again, no speaking. And we will spend rest of a couple of hours after the 15 minutes walk, and spend 2 more hours in debating about what did you observe. Right? And I will share my perspective as a coach, and he will share his or her perspective as an executive or a stakeholder, and we'll talk about it, debate about it, and make something visible, which is like otherwise not visible, because they happen to be in their cozy cabins, right? Get them out of their cabins. That's another way of doing it. Like you said, they'll be more interested in how can I enable. Sometimes the real obstacles don't reach them because we fail in setting that process. So this is one of the things that is working for us. And again, after some time there was a leadership change, the new VP came and the entire thing stopped. Now we have to figure out a new way of doing it. I mean, how do you again make it? And the previous one, the way we made that happen, again, there was no formula. It was like we had to spend literally about 3 months to find out the chemistry of each executive, what works, what doesn't work. Really, probably we could probably equate it to Sri Krishna, the way he does in Mahabharata, right? There's no straightforward answer. You need to figure out your way to get them out of the cabin. Something like that.
Same thing has to be extended to, let's say, executive in different zones.
If there is a different zone, obviously, the local site level visibility as well as something around enterprise Kanban. Nowadays, there are Kanban tools which are like, they'll give you in-time thing. You have a TV here and you can just use your hand like a smartphone, do this and it will be visible in the other place. One of the examples would be Silver Stripe software from Siddharth Govindraj. He has developed a tool which is very, very real time. Just move a sticky note here and it will reflect it. And people set up enterprise Kanban board using that.
We had a similar problem in the US when we were doing the transformation for one of our customers. The executives were really interested. They used to come every day and disturb the team. It is the first pilot we are doing. You can't say no, don't disturb, then you know what will happen after the pilot. So what we did was intelligently we wrote on our sticky outside saying that pigs are allowed in the room morning 9 o'clock to question mark. Chickens are allowed only between 11:30 to 12. Yeah, we put that, and then we ask the question, now you check whether you're a pig or a chicken. So the moment you see the board, it reflects. And many of them, the executives went out. That's one. Second experiment that we tried was like he said, executives come, we have an example where this section manager is to come and disturb us a lot. He wants a feature of what he wants to be implemented in the product. And he came out as a retrospective point and said, this is an impediment. Now I have to drop it. Whenever he comes, I should take him for a coffee. We don't want to drink coffee, make him drink coffee. 2-3 times acidity level will go up and start to implement this, I have done it. I've applied it for a couple of more days. Why don't you go for a coffee? I'll tell you there. Take them out. Slowly. Then I said, don't drink coffee. Make them drink coffee.
And in our case, also there was an incident where they violated the working agreement. They started speaking and things, and we had a good punishment. I mean, we had a working agreement saying any violation, punishment can be dynamically designed. So there were like a couple of codes, another day called moment. So immediately on the spot, okay, can you define agile values? Those kind of questions which are embarrassing because they don't even use it here.
That is
So just try a couple of times and then check them out on the screen.
See, in my case, the QA manager comes and during the estimation time, okay, as per them, if I did some task in the previous sprint for 40 hours, this time it should be 20 hours. They tried it and since the team is reporting to them, they are afraid of it. Next time what I did, simple thing, no meeting. No meeting. They ask me, well, if you want, ask me. And the Scrum Master, ask me. I will do it. You don't need to be there in the field. Really, they got you. 3 times I did, after that they found that I do not call them. Stop.
It's not really a question. Like I want to, like validate my thought on the same. Because we have got a lot of things to learn from basically from the startup culture. I don't know what methodology or what framework, the Snapchat, the car, or name it, anything they follow. I really don't know. But we could, like relate their, like releases, their, like launches to these, like Scrum framework. So I don't know, like you must be, like working for any of those companies. But if we can, when we relate, we could easily come to know that, like they are shifting much faster. They are, like responding to the change. Competitor comes up with $1 billion sale, and next week you have something coming up from Amazon. So what we cannot see from, like any of these big corporates, they are able to see it, like from these small, like companies that are run in garages. So that's, I guess Scrum is adding a lot of value in which you could, like see in weeks, not in, in years or decades. So Scrum is huge.
So it's Scrum coupled with sound engineering factors, there's enormous focus on engineering aspects.
There's a lot of focus on continuous integration, continuous delivery. Take any software that I know of, companies where they can ship faster. One thing, whether they follow Agile, Scrum, whatever it is, they have, like you said, very, very sound engineering practices in terms of developing, in terms of deploying, in terms of integrating, right? They integrate much, much faster than we think. They integrate 20 times a day, 40 times a day. Right?
And they invest building that infrastructure.
They build that infrastructure.
And just to add to that, they have great teams. As you are saying, like in the appraisal methods, that questionnaire, there will be, questions related to risk takers. And all those things, like we may see it after 2 years in the corporate. But when someone is hiring at a startup, that is the very first point that you look at. How much, like risk taking you are. Like, the great team makes it, like.
Yeah, that is great team, right? You still need a champion
Definitely.
to drive it, right? I mean, I can hire a bunch of great geeks, right? But unless there is this direction, right, it's not going to work. So that's why I think
Setting up
the
the
champion
culture.
is going to, it's like both, right? And the other thought I would like to share is with the emergence of Scrum, Agile, everything, the tools have also emerged a lot. Like 10 years back when I used to code on Notepad, Java and stuff, kind of integration techniques, processes, tools we had was pathetic versus what I see today, right? I can see my code real time in 10 minutes. I can deploy and keep it straight. That is really helping us become agile, right? It's like feeding on one on another, right? So that's really helping. Moreover, the startups, most of the startups are using the concept of lean startups. Okay? They just do what is required that particular time. no waste, not much of waste. That's one. Second is the automation. They automate almost.
One word to your answer, bro. Bureaucracy. There is no bureaucracy in startup. The focus is, let's try to deliver what the customer wants. What happens in corporates? There is bureaucracy. Let me first cover my dash. Let's see. That's the problem. This is why I said, as coaches, we should start coaching people to move from an IT mindset to a customer mindset. This is the bureaucracy is what is killing large organizations.
See, most of the times in sprint, the
I
end of the
think,
sprint.
I think I need to cut it.
Just one.
Sorry.
Just one.
Okay.
In most of the startups, every sprint is deployed. In most of the corporates, every sprint is never deployed. Most of them.
I have a follow-up question to your
It should be. We will take it offline.
I'm gonna ask everybody,
That is.
we're running out of
That
time.
is one more meetup happens in the same place. Okay. That is a very informal meetup.
Yeah, so after we officially end, you can hang out.
Yes. You can hang out and we can. Okay.
I'm also going to deliver these to you. Thank you very much. Okay, another round of applause for these gentlemen. Okay, so Albert is the judge we've been talking about, and he has picked somebody for the best tweet of the day.
I would like to call Srinath Reddy or Srinath Reddy K. Twitter handle.
And then what tweet are you?
Yeah, a champion is one whom you choose to meet. Yeah, the next.
Is it down?
Yeah, this one. Okay.
And
That's
then why you think this is the
yes,
best
that's
one?
most important. The reason is if you don't, you are choosing the champion in you also, right? If you think no, I don't have it, you're not going to, right? So take that risk. Find it and do it.
Just to not let Anand and Karan down, you're always
yeah.
on the list.
Yeah, you guys are in the
Keep
list.
doing your work.
Sorry.
Okay.
Next time they need to be the judges.
And we have the lucky draw. So who wants to pick the lucky draw and see who wins?
Can I keep mine?
Sure.
Yeah. Here it comes.
All right, Albert. Okay, come on, lady.
Come on.
And what's your name? Okay, please. You want to read out who that is? We have Nagarban. Okay, congratulations. Thank you. And he's got all 6 answers on the quiz right, so of course I'm going to read it out real quick. And who's the next one? Albert, how about you pick?
Srihari Guru Prasad.
Yeah, Srihari Guru Prasad.
M. Varsha. M. Varsha.
Alright, let's see who's lucky next. You need a big makeover. Kamal Raj. Yeah, Kamal Raj? Alright. And pick another one.
Anand Murthy Raj. Anand.
Congratulations. Mike? Okay, right answer. When does a development team participate in product backlog refinement? The right answer is anytime during the sprint. Question number 2, product backlog items are refined by the development team and the product owner. When a continuous integration build fails, who ideally ensures the build is repaired? The person that broke the build. Who writes tests in a Scrum team? The development team members. Why is daily Scrum held at the same place, same time? Because consistency avoids complexity. Who is responsible for managing the progress of work during a sprint? Development team themselves. Those are the right answers. Okay, and we also get 8 SU points from Scrum Alliance to take your certifications. You will receive an email from Albert in a couple of days. People that have registered, put their email IDs on the registration. You're going to receive about how to get those 8 SU points. Okay? Albert is working with the Scrum Alliance to create as an event. He is also our community ambassador, just in case you don't know. So he's going to send you that information about how to claim 8 SU points. Alright? Now I'm going to quickly jump to retrospective. Right? 5 minutes, talk about what you think it went well and what can we possibly improve in the next meetup, or some topics that you would like to talk about in the next meetup. Alright? Good enough, just keep calling and I'll capture those points here. Is that very good? Who said that? Okay, thank you. So, improve, time box. Acoustics. What is it? Acoustics. Acoustics, the mic, it needs to be improved, okay? So, to keep up with the time box, I'm going to introduce. How about we stick to 2 words? 1 word, 2 words, say what's good, say what we need to improve. Speakers were all good. Okay, speakers good, okay. Alright. Good speakers.
Seating arrangements.
Seating arrangements. You want improvement or is that good already? You want improvement on seating arrangements? Alright, what else?
Good lunch.
Improvement or relevant?
Okay, what else?
Again, organizers in the same column.
In the same column, they're good?
Good.
They're good looking?
You asked for 1 word, so you said good. After the second word, looking good.
Good organizers. What else?
Questions answered.
Oh, the
Questions
okay, questions answered. It is good. Wow, good. Okay. What else?
Lots of good questions from us.
Okay. Good questions.
Lot of group activity.
Group activity. That's a good thing.
That's a good.
Okay. Group activities. What else? Yeah. While we fill this, we also need to see the other column.
Activity should be elaborate, spanning across 2 days. Not
Spanning across 2 days.
It's going to be firefighting this.
Can you put that into words? Okay. All right. Just put 2 days. Elaborate activities. What else?
So printed articles.
Printed articles. So what printed articles?
Just like quick reference.
Okay. All right. Let's see what we can do about that.
It's free. On the website.
Of course. I mean, you were here and you don't get to pay. You're going to do something. It's probably going to be that. What else?
Community members spreading about our events.
Oh yeah.
Yes. That's a lot more than 2 words, but I think I'll take it. So Albert came up with this idea that all of us that are here come up with at least 2 email IDs of people that we want to refer to. So we will have that email in our database and then invite them for Scrum Bangalore. Well, I thought email management is again going to be a big issue. How about you ask them to go to meetup.com/Scrum Bangalore and then hit that join RSVP button. Can you do that? It'd be great.
And if possible, bring them with you.
Yeah.
You will be sending an email. We will be sending the emails. That is through meetup.com. Okay. But you guys think about it in your mission and bring people.
That would be the best idea would be like the people who are already doing Scrum, right? Just send an email to that team. So that's what I will be doing. I'll have some 3 or 4 teams and send a mail to all 20 guys or whatever. So some of them come up and ask me what is it all about, and that's how awareness is.
So you guys can do that also.
Blog about what you have heard, interesting. Tweet about it, blog about it, Facebook about it.
Just don't use that #Scrum Bangalore. Use Scrum, Agile,
all those things so that it spreads across.
All right, what else? 30 seconds.
I think we all as community members need to be a little more active on our Facebook community. Personally, I feel it is a little dull right now.
Okay, all right. But why only Facebook?
Even on the news.
Okay, all right.
That's where our main work happens.
Yes.
I guess Facebook is more mature in group messaging and all stuff rather than meetup.com.
Yeah.
That is a good idea.
Yeah, that is what pop-ups.
Sure, I think we can try that one out. Okay, 10 seconds.
Thank you.
All right, bring retrospective. Okay.
1 second. I have one. Time out.
Yes.
One more I have. Keep on this one clock over here. So that it's easy.
We need a timekeeper.
Yeah.
Okay, the purpose is time boxing,
Yeah.
so we manage time better, and we'll figure it out how it's the best. Okay, all right, thank you. Now, I want to thank the organizers, the people that are wearing these kind of t-shirts, and also you for your participation.